In this example, we're dividing two mixed numbers, 2 1/2 divided by 1 1/3. And of course, we'll change the mixed numbers into fractions. They'll both be improper fractions. So first I'll rewrite the problem. And instead of 2 1/2, I think to myself, 2 times 2 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that's 5 halves divided by this, 1 1/3. But instead of 1 1/3, I write 3 times 1 is 3, plus 1 is 4, 4/3. Then I remember how to divide when I'm dividing by a fraction. Dividing by a fraction is the same thing as multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. So I'll write this as 5 halves times 3/4. Instead of dividing by 4/3, I'm multiplying by 3/4, and that's mathematically the same thing. Dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. And now the problem is written as a regular multiplication of fractions problem. And I multiply the numerators, 5 times 3, and I get 15. And I multiply the denominators, 2 times 4, and I get 8. And 15/8 can be written as 1 7/8. And again, it's typical to write our answer as a mixed number when the problem was stated with mixed numbers. Here's another example, 3 1/4 divided by 3. The trick to doing this one is rewriting the problem, and instead of 3 1/4, I have 4 times 3, which is 12, plus 1 is 13. So that's 13/4. And then instead of saying divided by 3, I'll say divided by 3/1, because 3 is the same thing as 3/1. Now I'll change my problem here, which is dividing by a fraction, to this, 13/4 times 1/3. Instead of dividing by the fraction, I'm multiplying by the reciprocal of the fraction. And now I have one fraction multiplied by another. I multiply the numerators and I get 13. I multiply the denominators and I get 12. And 13/12 is 1 1/12. In this example, 6 divided by 4 2/5, I'll change the 6 to a 6/1, and that will be divided by 4 2/5, which can be written like this. 5 times 4 is 20, plus 2 is 22. So 22/5. And this division problem can be rewritten as a multiplication problem. Instead of dividing by 22/5, I'm multiplying by 5/22. And in this case, I can do a little bit of simplification. The 6 and the 22 can both be divided by 2, so the 6 will become a 3, and the 22 becomes an 11. And now I multiply. The numerator, 3 times 5 is 15, and the denominator, 1 times 11 is 11. So I get 15/11, which is the same as 1 4/11, or 1 4/11.